welcome back to A Fresh Perspective with Jeff Charles, where we prefer truth over narrative and principles over politics. And today we're going to talk about one of the biggest issues facing voters in the 2024 election, and that is healthcare. And boy, it is a mess. So, all right, we've got skyrocketing healthcare costs, we've got oodles of medical debt out of the wazoo, and let's not forget everybody's favorite high out of pocket expenses. And the government, in its infinite wisdom, seems to think they can fix it by making it worse. So we're going to talk about some of these issues that happen to be some of the top healthcare issues that voters have indicated are on their minds going into this election. I read about this on Yahoo Finance. So they kind of rank these from like 1 to 4 or something like that. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Anyway, here are the issues. The first is medical debt. Let's start with medical debt. According to the article, 20 million Americans owe a whopping $220 billion in medical debt. Now, that's a lot of zeros, isn't it? So how do we get here? What had happened was there's a lot of things that led to this, actually, but I'm going to talk about the Affordable Care Act. I'm going to kind of glide over this a little bit. I'm going to kind of explain it, but I'm going to circle back like Jen Psaki to the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Basically, the government said, hey, we're going to make sure everyone has insurance. Now, that sounds wonderful, right? It sounded wonderful at the time, didn't it? Wrong. No, it didn't. All those mandates that they slapped on insurance companies, well, they drove up the cost of premiums and deductibles. Now, even people with insurance are drowning in medical debt because they're still left holding the bag when it comes to out of pocket costs. So, what's the solution? Get rid of it. Scrap all of these government mandates and let the free market work its magic. Let's have insurance companies actually compete for your business. That way you would see lower costs, better service, and options that fit your needs without Uncle Sam looking over your shoulder. And with more competition and transparency, the days of medical debt, they won't be gone. There's still going to be medical debt, but hopefully that would decrease it significantly, right? I mean, the government is causing a lot of this problem when the free market could be working better to help people afford healthcare and health insurance. Now, let's move on to out of pocket costs. The average deductible is now over $1,700 for single coverage and almost $5,000 for families. That's more than a lot of people have in their savings accounts, right? A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So why is this happening? Because the government is trying to play doctor with insurance plans. They're telling insurance companies what they need to cover. And even if you don't want or need it, then they have the nerve to add all this red tape, like prior authorizations, which just drives up administrative costs. And guess who gets stuck paying for all of this bureaucracy? You! A free market system without government interference would cut out this nonsense. Insurance companies could offer customized plans that make sense for the person that's going to actually be using it. If you're young and healthy, why should you have to pay for a plan that covers every possible condition from toothaches to leprosy when you don't really need all that, right? Why don't we have a system where the individual can decide what's best for their health instead of some egghead bureaucrat off in Washington, D.C. somewhere? With when we lessen these administrative headaches, doctors can focus on what they do best, treating patients, not filling out novels worths of paperwork. Now, let's go ahead and circle back to that Affordable Care Act, or the ACA, or Obamacare, like people like to call it. This is the government's failed science experiment that nobody seems to be able to get rid of, including Republicans who keep pretending like they want to get rid of it when they really don't. The Obamacare was supposed to make healthcare affordable for everyone, right? You remember that? Remember what Obama was saying? Instead, what it did was distort the market. It created more regulations and it forced people to buy insurance plans they didn't need or want. It's like being forced by at gunpoint to pay for a 5-course meal when all you wanted was a burger. I mean, come on now. The subsidies that are included in this legislation are like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. Yes, it does. It has helped some people afford insurance. I'm not going to say nobody has benefited from this, but it's really just masking the real problem. And these are government created inefficiencies that are driving up the cost in the first place. So again, what's the solution? Got to get the government out of the way. Let the free market work. Without all of these mandates, insurance companies would actually have to offer competitive prices and competitive services. For those who want that catastrophic coverage in case they get leprosy, well, you be able to get it without jumping through all these hoops set up by the collusion between the government and these insurance companies. The power should be in your hands where it belongs, not in the hands of corporate bureaucrats and government bureaucrats. Last thing is Medicaid expansion. This is another government solution that created a two-tier system of healthcare. States that have expanded Medicaid have tons of people on the program. Sounds great, right? No, but guess what? Many doctors won't even take Medicaid patients because the reimbursement rates that the government gives them are so low. What's the point? If you're not going to make much money from it, why accept those patients? You've got people on Medicaid, but they can't actually get the care they need because the government has made it unattractive for doctors to serve them. Instead of using this as a government, slush fund, why not privatize it? Let the free markets lower the cost for everyone. Why not encourage people to give charity? Americans give charity like crazy. In this country, we give a lot of charity. Communities are willing to step up and stand in the gap for people who have fallen on hard times, who are having financial issues. That's one area. Direct payments to doctors. Instead of having to ask your insurance company whether you can have permission to go to a certain medical professional, work something out with them directly. Get rid of the middleman. By freeing up the market, we can get better quality care, lower prices, and more options for all Americans, and everybody wins except for, the bureaucrats who are employed and paid to make these decisions for you. The reality is that you should have more control over your healthcare decisions, not the government, not corporations. I bring up health savings accounts all the time. Remove the caps on those, expand those. Let people save the amount of money that they need to save to take care of their own healthcare, thereby giving them more control. The more the government is out of healthcare, the better it's going to be over the long term. We can't keep going this way, guys, because the healthcare market is just getting worse. We spend tons of money on healthcare, on health insurance, and it's only going up, 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 up. And it's not going to stop until something's done. So we need people in office who are willing to roll this back and let the free market work. So what do y'all think? What are your experiences with this? You've probably dealt with a lot of the stuff that I just talked about. Let me know. Let me know. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to like this, share this with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Substack called Chasing Liberty. Access that at libertychasers.com. Become a subscriber and support my work. That will help me to keep churning out this content. I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay free, stay principled, and most importantly, stay ungovernable.